Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's event. While we wait for others to join, please follow us on Instagram at wellness.pc and check out our website for more events.
Hi, everyone. Today we are going to talk about financial wellness. My name is Fatima Lua.
I'm Gigi.
I'm Raquel Espinosa. So this week we are discussing financial wellness. Financial wellness involves the processes of learning how to successfully manage financial expenses. Besides financial wellness, we have the other 7. You have physical, spiritual, intellectual, occupational, social, environmental, and emotional. Each dimension is equally vital in the pursuit of optimal health. One can reach an optimum level by understanding how to maintain and optimize each of the dimensions. Wellness matters because everything we do and every emotion we feel relates to our well-being. In turn, our well-being directly affects our actions and emotions. It's an ongoing circle. Therefore, it is important for everyone to achieve optimal wellness in order to subdue stress, reduce the risk of illness, and ensure positive interactions.
So now we're gonna do the wellness inventory. If you could grab a piece of paper or something you would like to write down or collect your score, it will be from 1 to 28, I believe. Number 1, I am mindful of when, where, and how I spend money. 2, I have a set budget goal that applies to my circumstances. 3, I live within my budget for spending each month. 4, I feel prepared to make financial choices. 5, I am comfortable with my level of debt. 6, I use my money positively. Example, I do not buy items that I do not need or gamble, etc. And 7, I try to prevent money from being a stressor.
The importance of financial wellness. So finances are a source of stress and anxiety for students. Finances are important because they give us the information and skills we need to manage our money effectively. With such a busy schedule and so much to manage, you'll be less stressed if you find a few ways to improve your financial wellness each week. Developing a solid financial plan is a big step in achieving your goals.
So here are some of my personal financial wellness tips. I work at a grocery store, and instead of getting direct deposit, I receive physical checks. This helps me go to the ATM and then practice cash envelope budgeting, which helps keep track of my spending habits. So basically, you just have a bunch of different envelopes with different categories, and you set aside the amount of money that you need for each of those. I also receive tips at my job, so I try to put those aside and put them into my savings. Determine typical weekly spending and try to cut out unnecessary spending. So with this, I try to think about what I'm spending every week and how I can reduce that. So this might look like, instead of getting 3 coffees a week, cutting down to 1. So the next one is put aside the money saved from cutting out frivolous spending for future plans and goals. Make changes to your budget as needed. Life change, throughout life we have changes, so our budget is likely to change with that. Find alternative activities and hobbies to do instead of browsing online. So that's something that I need to practice more. I like to online shop, and I need to find something else to do with my time. Be mindful of what businesses you choose to support. And lastly, I do bottle returns sometimes just to get the 5 cents back for each bottle.
So my financial tips are to track down your important spendings. So I have car payments or insurance and credit card payments that I need to do. So I try to keep track that I have enough each month for that. Also, note where you spend your money and reflect if it's necessary. So I've noticed that recently I've been spending a lot of money at Starbucks, which I need to save money and not do that. So things like that. Have a savings plan. Sometimes if you have a bank account, you can open a savings account with it, or you could do enveloping, things like that. Use a budgeting plan. I'm gonna start using an Excel sheet, which I added a link where you can get a free Excel budget planner tracker. If you want to check it out, it's free. Research before you shop or spend to find the best deals. So looking at weekly grocery what are they called? Flyers to see where you could get the better deals, things like that. Gas stations to see where it's more affordable, and retail shopping. Also, shop at places with student discounts. If you carry around your student ID, you're able to get some discounts at some grocery stores and some coffee shops.
So here are some of my financial wellness tips. So I think it's important for you to sit down and schedule and successfully complete a no spending day. Just like Raquel and Gigi, the one thing that I mostly spend money on is my coffee. So just like practicing not spending and making coffee at home definitely saves me money. Review or establish short/long-term financial goals. Sorry. So I think it's important for you to write it down or envision it in a board what your short-term financial goals are and what your long-term financial goals are. So like short term, I would put like, this is what I have to spend this amount a week, or this is what I have this week to spend on food, groceries, etc. And then for long-term financial goals, this is what I want to save for my education, for anything I need for tuition, for school, for my car, for my insurance, etc. I also find that finding a relevant article in regards to financial wellness and reading it can be beneficial for you. Even if it isn't an article, it could be a podcast or anything like that, where you can hear and listen to other people's tips and what they do for their financial wellness. I think this could be helpful for you as well. And like I mentioned before, you make your own coffee at home or food at home. This can help you save money by not spending at restaurants and coffee shops. I know that during the pandemic, it has been really hard for people to be at home and go out and buy stuff, but it's also very expensive to eat out and buy at coffee shops. So if you can get out and get some groceries and make some at home, I think that is a better option for people. And then create an emergency fund. I think it is very important to create something like this just for anything that happens. You can grab a little jar. I usually have jars in my room where I put some change or some dollars in it and I don't touch it. And if I eventually need money for something, I go and grab some money from that. And I think that could be very helpful for anyone who needs that extra cash or that little bit of money. Review the bills you already have and find ways to save where needed. So I know a lot of people have been staying at home, so we've been probably binge watching shows on Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and other subscriptions. So maybe you can cut down some of those. I know that Netflix is around like $15-$20. I'm not too sure, but you could probably cut down on some of these shows or like these I guess on TV subscriptions. They could definitely save you some money, or you can also share with your friends instead of just paying for it. I share with a lot of my friends some of these, and it definitely saves me money. There's also a few tips that I would wanted to share. So a tip I use whenever I do go out shopping, if I look at something and I'm like, oh, I really like this, I usually ask myself, is this something that I truly need or want? And this will help you establish whether or not things that catch your interest are something to invest in or just out of pure enjoyment. So I'll just stand there and be like I don't probably need it, so I'm just going to put it back. I want it, but I don't need it. And then you can ask yourself how many times you're going to use something. I think this is a useful tip as well. So whenever I do go shopping, it helps me decide whether something is good to be used, like if it's going to be used often or not, or if I'm going to forget about it. And that's definitely a good way to invest in something. So if I find a sweater or jacket or anything school related that I think I might need this or this might be good for me, I ask myself how many times I'm going to use it just in case I end up not using it and just forgetting about it. And that definitely helps you save money.
So these are some ethical and budget-friendly alternatives, and also some questions and tips. So be mindful of businesses you support. You can do this by researching brands and companies that you frequently buy from or plan to buy from. Some questions to ask yourself: how are these products being made? Who's making them and who's profiting from you buying them and being the consumer? Is there something in your possession that can be upcycled to make something new as opposed to buy something else? If businesses don't align with your values, consider other options. Utilize thrift stores, secondhand, small shops, and this will help with sustainability. And avoid businesses that engage in fast fashion. So here are some examples of brands. Well, the first ones I'll go through are the ethical alternatives. So Tom's is a shoe brand where if you purchase one pair of shoes, they'll give a pair of shoes to someone who needs them. And Trader Joe's is a more budget-friendly alternative to other grocery stores such as Whole Foods. And a business that doesn't align with my values is Chick-fil-A. So I put that in there and I go other places to eat as opposed to there. And Gigi, did you want to talk about Parade and Unit Days?
Yeah, so Parade is a sustainable clothing line. It mainly has like underwear and stuff for like women or anyone really. And they have sustainable clothing where I think it's recycled material. I'm not sure, but I like their brand and their motto. And Uni Days is a website where students are able to get discounts, and you can see like the wide variety of stores and businesses that can give you some. So like I like to use the American Eagle discount, which gives me like I think 15%, which is great. So it's little things like that.
Thank you. We can go to the next slide. So we arranged a list of activities for you all that are low or no cost. I'll go through them. The first one is go for a walk. You can read a book or an article, newspaper. You can FaceTime a friend. You can locate free museums in your community. You can declutter your space and then donate whatever you are able to donate from what you found and don't no longer need. You can hike and take nature walks in public parks, ride your bike. You can garden. Seeds are very cheap to garden and it's a fun activity, and you get to grow your environmental wellness as well. You can bake and make food at home, dance and listen to music. You can volunteer your time. You can get to know your neighbors. You can get artistic and creative doing projects such as drawing, painting, creative writing. You can go to a local library. You can do DIY self-care at home, take your pet on a walk, spend time with family, do sports. You can do window shopping as opposed to actually going out and buying stuff. You can journal, you can nature watch and people watch. So I like to watch sunrises, sunsets, or even clouds, or I like to go to parks in the city and people watch and just see what everyone else is up to. You can take pictures, play board games. You can wash your car instead of paying for a car wash, which is fun too. And lastly, you can make a collage with old newspapers and magazines that you have around your house.
So we're gonna watch a really quick video about financial wellness, and it's a really cute animation.
You need it for almost everything, and it can be extremely stressful to make sure you have enough to cover everything.
Sorry, I'm gonna replay it again. It was kind of low.
As the saying goes, money makes the world go round. You need it for almost everything, and it can be extremely stressful to make sure you have enough to cover everything. Financial wellness involves taking control of your finances so that you can lessen this stress. As a college student, you might have a lot of expenses that cause you financial stress, such as paying for school, housing, bills, and food. You may even be taking care of someone else. It can be difficult and overwhelming to keep up with all of these expenses, but ignoring them can just make you feel even more anxious. Financial wellness means developing smart financial habits and finding ways to manage these expenses and your overall financial situation so that you can feel less stressed and have enough money for what you need. So, how can you build financial wellness? There are many things that you can do, but here are some suggestions. Compare prices at different stores and look for deals. You can use apps like Flip to browse flyers for local stores, see what items are on sale, and make a grocery list. You can even search for specific items to find the sales. Meal plan. Plan your meals for the week based on what is on sale. Price match one item. If you have a flyer saying that an item is on sale at another store, some retailers will match that price at their store. Examine your spending. Write down every single thing that you buy in a week and evaluate where you can cut back. You can download a budgeting app for help tracking everything. Make a weekly and monthly budget. Figure out how much money has to go to fixed expenses like transportation and rent, and then plan how much of what's left over you can spend on other things. Take advantage of a student discount. Some retailers and services offer discounts for students. Do some research before you make purchases to find out if you could get a discount. Make a present or card instead of buying one. If you have skills such as painting, baking, jewelry making, crafting, woodworking, or knitting, you can use those skills to create personal gifts instead of spending money. Use loyalty point systems to your advantage. Many stores have loyalty programs that allow you to earn points towards future purchases. Try a few of these suggestions to improve your financial wellness.
All right, so right now we are going to do an activity. So if you can grab a piece of paper or pen or even type on your phone, we're going to see what we have spent money on this week so far. So ask yourself, what did you spend your money on so far, and just write down what the things are right now, and then ask yourself, can you afford to spend money at the moment, and how many work hours will it take you to earn that money back, and what else could the money be used for? So I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to see, and if you would like to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and share. So I think I'm going to share with you guys. So far I had spent around $44. That seems like a lot right now because we're just on today's just Wednesday, but I did have to buy a gift for someone, and I think that I should have probably that took a lot of my money, so I think I should have probably thought about it a little bit more, like maybe make her something handmade. So I think that was something that I probably should have taken a moment and stepped back and see if I could have made something for her instead of buying something. I did spend some money on coffee and a water bottle, which was $3. It was pretty expensive for a water bottle, so I think that from now on, I'm just going to fill up my water can, like my reusable water cans, and just take those with me wherever I go. Does anyone want to share um, what they've spent on so far?
I can share. Saw that I spent $90 so far, which is pretty ridiculous. So I saw that 40 of that went for paying for gas to fill up my car, which I use to take my mom to work, and I carpool for my nephews. Um, about 30 of that went to takeout because I haven't had time to cook just because it's been hectic, and my parents haven't had time to cook either because they're busy with work. And I think the other thing was a Spotify subscription that I use with my friends, so we split that cost. So yeah.
Okay, so if no one else wants to share, the next part of this activity is to be mindful about spending for the next 24 hours and um on, I guess. So consider the cost of your coffee or online shopping and try to be mindful for the next 24 hours or moving forward. So consider what's behind your spending. Sometimes we just spend because we are having a bad day or something like that. So ask yourself, are you spending because I am having a bad day? I'm stressed. Do I need a pick me up? So spending is often used as a coping mechanism. So before you reach for your credit card or cash, consider why you feel the urge to spend and if you really need to make that purchase. So there are alternatives to retail therapy, which we had talked about before. So you could take a walk, call a friend, or simply reflect on why you want to spend money. And if you do want to spend money, could that money be set aside for things that offer more fulfillment later on, like investing in yourself or your future? Just ask yourself if what you're spending on could be better for your future. And lastly, just take the time to breathe and reflect. And you're doing great.
So for this activity, you are going to go through this list and you're going to first choose the top 15 things that you regularly spend on. Then from those 15, you will cut it down to 10 and then lastly 5. So the idea of this activity is to see like what could you possibly cut out of your spending or to try to find alternative ways to do that to maybe decrease the amount you spend. Whenever you're done, if you would like, you can either share by unmuting or in the chat.
I think I can share. I thought this was really hard just because I do spend a lot of money on a lot of these things. But my top 5 were education, rent, insurance, medicine, and pet. I love my dog, and I spend a lot on her, but I think that she's really important to me, so she's on my top list. And it was really hard for me to kind of cut down all the other things that I usually spend money on, like coffee, personal care, cell phone, you know.
My top 5 were coffee, gas, medicine, and pets. Yeah, Robbie's right. It's difficult to cut down on fixed expenses. So keep that in mind. Don't be hard on yourself if you can't cut back on some of these things.
So for this next activity, we want to challenge you for a week to work on your financial wellness. So on Monday, you would establish a budget. On Tuesday, you would set short and long-term financial goals. Wednesday, you would identify spending areas to address. On Thursday, you will create an emergency fund. Friday, have a fun day with that little extra money you saved. So we know that people might not have the funds to do this, but just spending a minimum amount on like coffee or something affordable that you can enjoy will help out. So for Saturday, you will buy one thing that will make you happy this day. So it could be going to get a coffee or even just buying like a snack, things like that. And on Sunday, you will find a new way to learn about financial wellness. And some examples are like listening to podcasts and reading articles, etc.
So we just wanted to take the time to thank you for coming to this event. Our upcoming event, is the social and physical wellness, which is May 5th from 3 to 4 p.m. This is an in-person event, so we hope you guys can attend. We hope that you can practice social distancing and make sure that you take the proper precautions to come if you do feel like coming to be into this event with us. And just thank you so much for being with us throughout this whole experience of the 8 areas of wellness.